Say that like you mean it. Change starts with me. I am a leader, and change starts with me. One more time. I am a leader, and change starts with me.
The purpose of this session today is to teach and to learn about the importance of authority. Say authority. Authority. Say it loud. Authority.
Authority. The purpose of authority is someone who has been granted a position to provide. To provide resources, to provide protection, to provide accountability. Your parents are authority figures. They hold you accountable so you're not self-destructive. And we have a culture where we have many that are self-destructive. It's just the truth. So these authority figures have a responsibility to step in and hold you accountable. Authority does not denote power. I want to make that clear. Authority does not denote power. The reality is, when we are learning to disdain and distrust authority, we are acquiescing our own right for authority. We are giving it away. And each and every one of you men, you young men, were meant to walk in authority. Each and every one of you. There's not a young man in here that wasn't meant to walk in authority. You were created to walk in authority. The problem comes in is when we learn to resist authority. Are we acquiescing our authority? So then as a community, we must go outside of our community in the next generation for leadership, for authority, for provisions, for protection, for accountability. Because that's what's going on. Because of a surrendering of our authority, we have to leave our own community. In other words, it's saying that we are not qualified to lead ourselves. Today, it is extremely important that you become leaders. I had to start leading myself. Now, soon after that, I found mentors and models and people that helped me, but for a period of time, I had to take a stand, and normally that stand was alone. Hey man, we about to go to some place that you shouldn't be going to. Nah, I'm all right. Hey man, we about to do something we know that Christians don't do. Nah, I'm good. And I didn't like it. It was very, very uncomfortable. Leaders don't lead by position. They're not people of authority necessarily. They're not delegated authority. The power of a leader is their power to influence. So that make that you're sharing is really the power to influence. How do we influence? The leaders influence through motivation, through supporting others, through relationship. That's why the power of leadership is so potent. Willingness to serve. Every police officer in this room, whenever you think about police, they came one because they saw a need and they said, I'm going to step in and help provide this need. In other words, they said there must be change, and change will start with me. This is the exact same thing that we are hoping each and every one of you grasp today. That if you truly want to see change, if you have the courage to lead, that you will say change will start with me. Leadership requires for you to think of others. Leadership requires you to make a sacrifice. So I understand if everybody don't want to lead, it ain't meant for everybody to lead. It's only meant for the very courageous, for the very selfless. He uses his power to lead others. So for those that stood up, this is what I want you to say. Change starts with me.
It's important to know also as a side point that if you want to be in positions of authority and leadership, do your research and find out what that entails. What are your requirements? What are your prerequisites? Do I need a certain level of education or experience? And then work towards it. Things that you want to do now, if you want to own your own business, and you can always, in most cases, go to maybe a business owner, talk to them, ask them, can you shadow them for a couple of days or so, and see what it's really like, because you may find out that it's not what you thought it was. Or it may just solidify what's on the inside of you that's driving you to do that thing, and you can get a head start.
Here, we never intended to talk about restructuring policing or restructuring your household. And the whole issue of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and all these other major things that victimizes our community. That was not the intent. The intent for 2 hours was to download in you thoughts. If you change the way a person thinks, you can have a good opportunity to change their behavior. My entire desire for the rest of my life is to see how people can rise up to be all that God has called them to be. And it takes leaders like Chief Mobley, Commander Taylor, and all these other officers, and you, to lead, to take charge, to accept responsibility. And the next session we're going to do is going to deal with family authority. Because some of you all have come under jacked up environments. Your father may not have been in your life. Your mother has led your life. You haven't really experienced what a real father is supposed to be. He never really had a man. He had a male. But how many know there's a difference between a male and a man? And so we want to deal with this issue of family authority, the interrelationship between a father and a son and a mother. A mother can't raise up a boy because she doesn't understand the boy. I can tell you so many times I've had counseling sessions as a pastor when mothers come to me and the boy is 10 to 12 years old and I don't know what to do with him. He's going crazy. That's because he's breaking out of the shell. He doesn't know how to be a man, but he's not a man yet. But he's not a boy yet anymore. He needs help. That's where we as men want to help him.